so much for rent. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. One Monday morning a landlord went to a tenant to get his rent, but the tenant said, "Me no fool, me no pay for no swimming pool. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Look at the room you rent me to live. The whole roof is just like a sieve. When rain come, if me sleep too sound, so help me Lord, me sure would I drown. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Some of the rooms they rent out, you know, just like a big scorpion nipple. If you sleep and don't take an oath, middle of the night cockroach cut your throat. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Dry weather houses are not worth a cent, and yet we have to pay so much for rent. Some of the rooms them is so small that you cannot turn in them at all. To turn you man go outside, take your turn and go back inside.